Your emulsions. So already wrote one example for emulsions, right? So the moment I'm talking about the case of your emulsions, generally these particular emulsions will be liquid and liquid. But whenever you're mixing two liquids, these particular liquids, they'll not mix up thoroughly. A best example for that one, oil and water. So a particular combination, emulsion in case of your emulsions, the two liquids will never mix thoroughly. Such combination or such mixture, you call it as emulsions. They will never mix thoroughly. Such combination, yeah, we call that one as the case of your emulsions. Especially the case of your oil and water, any type of oil that you take, right? So we call them as emulsions. Moving on to
How is milk an emulsion? Water and milk. Is that an emulsion?
colloid.
No, milk is an emulsion. Right? In the slide, it was given that milk is an emulsion.
Emulsion. So there in that particular case, when talking about the case of your water and milk, you're finding some, right? You're finding some small minute particles. I'll just show you one thing here, right? So these particular liquids, right? So whenever light is focused onto this particular, this is the vase, mixture of water and milk. Now when light is focused onto a particular glass of water which is having some amount of salt or sugar, you're not able to find the path in which the light rays are traveling. Because the light rays are completely, here in this particular case, the solute and the solvent, these two are thoroughly mixed in this particular case. In the case of a solution, which are having water as well as water and salt or water and sugar, or else water and copper sulfate, they make a perfect combination. Water and alcohol, they make a perfect combination. So whenever light is incident onto this one, it is just traveling like this. But the moment the moment light is falling onto a mixture of water and milk, right? So there in that particular case, the milk particles which are present in that particular thing, they are able to show. So here you are able to find the path in which the light rays are able to travel. This particular phenomena is known as Tyndall effect. It is known as Tyndall effect, wherein the light rays, whenever they are focused on a particular combination of water and milk, so you can trace out the path in which the light rays are traveling. So here in this case, you are not even in a position to find and the path in which the light rays are traveling here. But whereas in that particular case, you are able to say in which particular case the light rays are able to travel. Because it is not making a perfect homogeneous mixture. That is the reason why you are able to trace out the path in which the light rays are traveling. So which you are calling it as Tyndall effect. Because of the minute particles, or else even the nano-sized particles which are present in that, which are not completely dissolving, you call it as a Tyndall effect.
So if it was pure milk without any addition of water, would Tyndall effect still work?
No. So, but the thing is that milk without water, is it possible? First and foremost thing.
Milk is without water. Whatever you get from the cow.
That even consists of certain amount of water. The moment you suppose that if you take that particular water, you take that particular milk, the moment you are getting it from cow or the case of a buffalo, you put it on the stove, start heating for some time. The water which is present in that starts getting evaporated. Even though you're talking about the case of your pure milk, even that particular pure milk, it consists of certain amount of water. Without water, there is no milk. Without water, there is no milk. So in that particular milk, you are having some carbohydrates, proteins, sugars, whatever it is. Because of that one, that particular water is having a white colored, it's appearing white in color. The taste is different. Milk is not possible without water. In simple terms, what we are doing, we are adding water to water. right? Even pure milk also consists of certain amount of water in that one. So this is what we call it as the case of your colloids. Then we're talking about the case of emulsions, water in oil or else oil in water. They never make a perfect combination. They may never make a perfect homogeneous mixture. Suppose that if you take the case of a honey, will it dissolve in water? Honey.
Dissolved. Yes, sir.
Generally, tene water lo early morning, almost everyone is trying to have it so that the person is becoming slim. Right? You're having that lemon water along with lemon water, the lukewarm, and at the same time, 1 spoon of honey you're adding it and daily you're drinking it. Right? Of course, even that particular combination, it even solves some digestive problems also. You know, it is said that the moment you're having that lukewarm water, lemon and honey, it solves some gastric problems or the intestinal problems. It clears all that particular thing. But the fact is that the moment you're putting honey in water, right? Some cases, if at all it's pure honey, I suppose, if at all it's pure honey, I think, then it starts dissolving in that one. If it is a solution which is made of your jaggery, bellamto chesin panakam aithe, water lo manam vesinappudu, you find some, it gets settled at the bottom. You need to stir it. If it is pure honey, without stirring, it dissolves. If it is a pure honey, without stirring, slowly it gets dissolved. But wherein the moment you are making it from jaggery, right, bellamto chesin panakam aithe, water lo vesta kinda settle అయిపోతుంది.
It's a heterogeneous mixture.
Heterogeneous mixture, right? And that particular heterogeneous mixture, we call it as a colloidal solution, because we are able to find those particular particles in water. So the moment you're talking about these particular liquids, and liquids generally heterogeneous mixture and a word ఎక్కువ యూస్ చేసేదాని కన్నా, we simply call them as colloids అంటాం, లేదా we call them as emulsions అంటాం. Because suppose that if I say water and sand, it is a homogeneous mixture, I say. So in case of your homogeneous mixture, same about, for example, suppose that if you are adding water to sand, after some heterogeneous mixture, water and sand, it's a heterogeneous mixture. Suppose that if you leave that particular combination undisturbed for some time, sand will settle at the bottom. But aquarium lo stones untai. Aquarium lo first you drop some stones. After 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you find that all the stones are settled at the bottom. So there in that particular case, you are able to find 2 layers. The bottom layer is consisting of sand, or else the case of your stones, and the top layer, it is consisting of only water. It is consisting of water. Water in one case, sand at the bottom. The moment you are able to find 2 different layers, then we call it as a heterogeneous one. Suspensions లో కానివ్వండి, colloids లో కానివ్వండి, 2 layers అంతా స్పష్టంగా కనిపించవు. We will not be in position to see that particular thing very much clearly in the case of your colloids or suspensions. So that is the reason why generally we call them as colloids or suspensions. We don't use the word heterogeneous combination for them. Right? That. The regular one that you're getting here, questions from this one, the acids as well as the case of your bases. Acids as well as bases. So generally when you're talking about the case of your acids and bases, so any particular compound, the moment you're dissolving in water, if it is dissociating into H plus ions, then in that particular case we call this one as an acid. A compound which is dissociating itself into H plus ions in water, we call it as an acid. A compound which is dissociating into H plus ions in water, we call it as an acid.
H plus means hydrogen.
Hydrogen plus ions. You can even call them as hydronium also. You can even use the word H plus, or else you can use even hydronium NiUm. Now, look here. Now, this is the case of a nucleus. This is for you. This is the case of a nucleus. And this is the case of your orbit. Right. So, when I'm talking about the case of your hydrogen, it has got one electron as well as one proton. Hydrogen is having one electron as well as one proton. The proton will be present inside the nucleus. Around the nucleus in orbits, we have some electrons. Now, since hydrogen is having only one electron, that particular one electron will be present here. The moment you remove one electron from hydrogen, or else the moment hydrogen is losing one electron, then in that particular case, right, here you don't have any electron here. You don't have any particular electron. But the neutron is having one positive charge. Proton is present inside the nucleus. So here in this case, hydrogen, after losing one electron, it is having 0 electrons, at the same time 1 protons. Here, as long as electron is present, positive charge, negative charge, both are equal. So simply you are writing it as H. The moment it is losing one electron, positive charge is more. That is the reason why you are writing this one as H plus. Right? Suppose that you take the case of your Cl, chlorine. In general, chlorine is having 17 electrons as well as 17 protons. If chlorine gains one electron which is lost by hydrogen, it will be having 18 electrons as well as 17 protons. One negative charge is more when compared to positive charge. So you write this one as Cl minus ion. This is H plus ion. In case of atoms, positive charge, negative charge, both will be equal. In case of your ions, positive charge may be more or negative charge may be more. In atoms, positive and negative charges are equal. But in ions, positive charge or negative charge, any one may be high. Done? Then, we're talking about the case of your acids. Acids generally, they react, they in water, they produce H plus ions. At the same time, acids produce carbonates. So whenever you are burning these particular acids, they produce these particular carbonates, calcium carbonate, sodium carbonate, right? These particular acids, they combine with some other elements, resulting in the formation of carbonates. Carbonates means it could be calcium carbonate, or else it could be even the case of your sodium carbonate or any particular thing. Then, to identify whether a particular thing is acid or base, we use some papers. We call them as litmus paper. Litmus paper. Now, this particular litmus paper, the moment you are adding acid, the color of the litmus paper will change from blue to red. On addition of acids, color of litmus paper will change from blue to red. Litmus paper? Why do you carry that always?
I just signed a bookstore and I always wanted to buy it.
What is that? I don't know. Where you bought it?
In a bookstore in a stationery shop.
Okay. Now suppose that if at all you put soap solution on that one. Now you take one at the same time, afterwards the moment you are having a break, you just put a drop of soap solution on that one.
That is blue litmus.
Okay, it is blue litmus. Right. So generally the moment you are adding some amount of acid, so it changes from blue litmus to red. Right. At the same time, these particular acids generally they are sour to taste. Acids are sour to taste. पुल्लगा ఉంటాయి. Acids are sour to taste. Right? At the same time, you have got one more thing. Here, this is an indicator. Litmus paper అనేది ఒక indicator. whether a given chemical is an acid or base. To identify that one, we are using litmus paper. So apart from this, we have got two more indicators. One is methyl orange. This is also one chemical, but it is used as an indicator material. The name itself says methyl orange means it is orange in color. The moment you are adding any acid, the color of this one will change to pink in color. The color of this one will change to pink in color. On addition of acids, the color of methyl orange will change to pink in color. Then you have got one more indicator which you are calling it as phenolphthalein. On addition of acid, the color of this one will remain unchanged. On addition of acids, the color of this one will remain unchanged. It looks like this, plain thing. Phenolphthalein is a plain colorless liquid. The moment you are even adding acid also, color will not change. But if it is methyl orange, it changes to pink in color. Now, these particular acids, where we are using them in our day-to-day life, that is what is more important to us. The moment you are talking about the case of your acids in day-to-day life, for example, is it done, ma? Right. The moment you're talking about these particular acids in day-to-day life, for example, if I say the case of your batteries. Now, once upon a time, batteries, we used to have distilled acid in that one, diluted sulfuric acid. After that one, distilled water. The present day batteries, do you find any water in that? The present day modern batteries that we are using, bike batteries, two-wheeler batteries, do you find any distilled water in that? Or as the case of inverter batteries, you find any distilled water in that? Inverter batteries, yes or no?
Yes.
Still we are using distilled water. Bike batteries, we don't use, gone are the days. Car batteries, we don't use that, right? So generally in these particular batteries, once upon a time we used to have sulfuric acid. Now if at all you have watched that particular movie Ganga Jal, Ajay Devgan's very long back, almost 10 years back movie. So there in that particular case, it literally shows at one particular point they open the Jeep, take the battery out. From that particular battery, they take the acid తీసి జైల్లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళ కళ్ళలో పోస్తారు. And it happened literally in Bihar way back in the 80s. The same thing. So once upon a time, battery, we are having sulfuric acid. Now we are having distilled, few years back, distilled water. Now we are having the completely dry batteries. Even inverter batteries కూడా complete dry batteries వచ్చేసాయి. But still people are thinking whether to use the dry batteries or else whether we need to use distilled water, still they are thinking. That is the reason why still you find some demand for this particular distilled water battery, still you find some demand. But after 2 years from now or 3 years from now, even those things will also get disappear completely. Which means in the market, we are just going to have only the dry batteries. So we are not going to use any sort of water, any sort of acid in the future. We are going to have only the dry batteries. Dry batteries. Lithium-ion batteries are completely dry batteries. Lithium-ion battery is the one that we are using in your handycam. The one that we are using in your handycam. Or as the one that we are using in the case of your cameras, or as the case of, I think mobiles, you are still lithium-ion batteries రాలేదనుకుంటా. Right. Okay, Apple నాకు తెలీదు. I don't know about Apple. Right. So you are using any battery that we are using. Generally, మనం యూజ్ చేసే బ్యాటరీస్లో we'll be using nickel, cadmium or cobalt. Or of course, you can use even lithium also. Generally, when you're talking about the case of your storage cells, any particular storage cells, right? We call them as secondary cells. So in the case of your secondary cells, we use nickel, we use lithium, we use cadmium, at the same time cobalt. But lithium-ion batteries, generally they give very much good life. And ISRO uses only lithium-ion batteries for all this particular PSLV or GSLV. Right? At one particular point of time, lithium plus batteries. Lithium plus. Right? సో జనరల్లీ బయట మార్కెట్లో మనకు దొరికేవి లిథియం అయాన్ బ్యాటరీస్ అంటాం, రైట్? అట్ ద సేమ్ టైమ్ యూ హెవ్ గోట్ ఈవెన్ లిథియం Li3+ బ్యాటరీస్ కూడా ఉన్నాయి. Li3+ in the sense, right? Lithium has got only 3 electrons in the outermost orbit. Only 3 electrons. Now we are in a position to even remove all the 3 electrons. The moment you are removing all the 3 electrons, it is becoming Li3+. So that particular technology is possessed as of now. It is possessed only by ISRO. Only they are having that particular Li3+ batteries. At the same time, ISRO, they even have the patent of one particular thing. They are able to create a particular atmosphere, a particular layer, which is exactly similar to the case of your moon's topology. చంద్రుడి యొక్క సర్ఫేస్ ఎలా ఉంది, టెంపరేచర్ ఎలా ఉంది, the rock structure, each and everything, they are able to have one particular thing, an exact one, which is even present with ISRO only. They have that particular technology, right? So these particular assets, generally we use assets, different types of assets we are using in day-to-day life. For example, suppose that if at all, I am using the case of your sulfuric acid and done. The moment you talk about the case of your sulfuric acid, you call it as H2SO4, right? This particular sulfuric acid, which is also known as the oil of vitriol, sulfuric acid, which is also known as oil of vitriol, or else you have got even one more name for this one, king of chemicals. King of chemicals, or else you call it as oil of vitriol. Now the reason why we are saying oil, because it's a very thick substance. Oil lane untadi. Very thick, viscous substance. The viscosity of this particular thing is very high when compared to other materials. Now for example, suppose that you are taking 2 glasses. In one you are having HCl and the other one you are having sulfuric acid. Suppose that if at all here in this particular case I am dropping a piece of iron, even in this particular case I am dropping a piece of iron. Here you are having 100 ml of HCl, here you are having 100 ml of H2SO4. After some amount of time, you find that the piece of iron which is present in the case of your sulfuric acid starts corroding. Rust form అవుతా ఉంటుంది. అలాగే వదిలిపెట్టేసాం అనుకోండి, if it is a small piece, sulfuric acid will disappear completely. So sulfuric acid has got that ability to eat that particular metal, to corrode that particular metal. If corrosion increases, so for a simple example, because of corrosion, the weight of a particular metal increases, decreases, or remains constant. Any particular metal, especially iron, corrodes to the maximum extent. Whenever a material is corroding, the weight of that particular material will increase. Suppose that if increases, suppose that if you take the case of batteries, battery when you are charging to the maximum, will the weight of that one increase, decrease, or remain constant?
Increase, it becomes bulky, overcharged.
I'm not talking about overcharged. I'm just saying 100% charged.
Remain constant.
When the battery is 100% charged, your mobile, or as your case of a laptop battery, or as a case of a bike battery, anything, if it is charged to the maximum, will the weight of that one increase or decrease or remain constant?
Remain constant.
The weight of a battery will always increase the moment it is charged. So increased ante, now the moment that you're taking your mobile right now, if it is 100 grams, it will not become 150 or 170. Right? Small change. Small change which we cannot experience with our hands. A small change of around 1 grams or 2 grams, maybe 3 grams. That particular change you can find. But battery, whenever it is charged to the full, the weight of that one will increases. At the same time, a metal, when it is corroding, the weight will increase. Then, the moment I am talking about the case of a sulfuric acid. So, sulfuric acid also known as oil of vitriol, right? At the same time, sulfuric acid, where we are using this one in the case of a sugar industry, right? At the same time, we use this in the case of your oil and paper industry. Oil and paper industry. It is used in lead acid batteries. It is used in lead acid batteries. ఒకప్పుడు యూజ్ చేసేవాళ్ళు lead acid batteries. It is used in lead acid batteries. Now,
So even we generate sulfuric acid, right, in our stomach.
HCl.
That's not sulfuric.
It's not sulfuric acid, it's HCl that you are generating in the stomach. Right? That is what I said right yesterday. Suppose that if you invite us for lunch, or else if I invite you for lunch, then that particular the moment you're having more than what you're supposed to have, then at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock you start feeling heavy. Well, in night tinali ante just you try to have one cool drink or thumbs up or so. Why? Because of reducing in order to reduce acidity, we are doing that particular thing. Right? That is HCl, not H2SO4. Then at the same time, now suppose that if you compare the sugar that you are getting from your Reliance or DMart or more with the sugar that you are getting from your ration shop. రేషన్ షాప్లో దొరికే షుగర్ అలాగే బయట ఎనీ మటీరియల్ మాల్స్ దొరికే షుగర్ ద మూమెంట్ యూఆర్ కంపేరింగ్ దెమ్ వాట్స్ ద డిఫరెన్స్ దట్ యూ ఫైండ్ ఇన్ దట్
In malls, the sugar is very bulk.
bigger size bigger size right what about the sweetness రేషన్ షాప్ దొరికే షుగర్ మాల్లో దొరికే షుగర్ ఇఫ్ you're comparing first thing as she said the sugar that you are getting in the case of your mall's size is big sweetness will be less రేషన్ షాప్లో దొరికే షుగర్ కన్నా స్వీట్ తక్కువగా ఉంటుంది అట్ ద సేమ్ టైమ్ ద మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్ కలర్ విల్ బి డిఫరెంట్ మాల్లో దొరికే షుగర్ చాలా వైట్గా ఉంటుంది ద షుగర్ దట్ యు గెట్ ఇన్ ద కేస్ ఆఫ్ రేషన్ షాప్ కొద్దిగా డల్ కలర్ ఉంటుంది రైట్ సో దాట్ పర్టికులర్ ద మూమెంట్ యూ సీ దట్ పర్టికులర్ షుగర్ ఇన్ ద రిలయన్స్ ఆర్ మోర్ యూ గెట్ అట్రాక్టెడ్ టు దట్ because of its color, whiteness, shining. So that particular thing, it is because of the use of this particular chemical which are calling it as sulfuric acid. It is used in oil industry, sugar industry as well as paper industry. Right? అందుకే అంటే మనం తినే షుగర్లో సల్ఫ్యూరిక్ యాసిడ్ కూడా ఉంది కాబట్టి ఇట్ ఈస్ గివింగ్ అస్ మోర్ కలర్ అట్ ద సేమ్ టైమ్ లెస్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ స్వీట్నెస్ ఇస్ లెస్ కాబట్టి వాట్ యూర్ డూయింగ్ యూర్ యాడింగ్ 2 spoons of sugar. The moment you get sugar from your ration, the moment you're getting sugar from ration shop, it is just 1.5 spoon is enough. But the moment here, it requires 2 spoons, which means more consumption. So the moment you're getting more consumption, it means that 5 kgs from Reliance and 4 kgs from ration shop will be done, okay, will be equal. So here you're spending more amount. So by the use of that particular chemical, sweetness is decreasing, as a result of which consumption is increasing. Then,
Lead acid battery, lead acid.
so in the case of a lead acid battery, right? Now whenever you take the case of any particular battery, you'll be having the positive as well as the negative terminals. And this particular sulfuric acid will act as an electrolyte between the positive and the negative terms. Anode and cathode. And between anode and cathode, it is acting as
Sulfuric acid is this
electrolyte. Electrolyte.
Lead.
Lead is acting as anode.
Anode.
Lead is acting as anode. At the same time, you use some other materials like the case of your copper rod or zinc rod as a case of your cathodes. Right? But electrolyte, the one which is connecting inside, we cannot see sulfuric acid. Because what we want is that electron, we need to we want to have the electrons moving from one end to other end. So when electrons need to move from one end to other end, we need to have a material which is supporting the movement of the electrons. And that is what you're calling it as an electrolyte. So in the case of lead acid batteries, we are using sulfuric acid as electrolyte. At the same time, dry cells, the one that we are using right now, we use NH4Cl paste as electrolyte in the case of your dry cells or dry batteries. NH4Cl paste. Ammonium chloride paste is used as electrolyte. Ammonium chloride paste is used as electrolyte in dry cells.
It is in
Paste
not
form.
in liquid,
Paste on. Ammonium chloride paste antunna. Specifically, you are using the word paste. Reason ఏంటంటే you have got one cell called as your Lakeland cell. So in the case of a Lakeland cell, we are using ammonium chloride in the liquid form. Dilute NH4Cl is used, where Lakeland cell. But in the case of your dry cells, we are using NH4Cl paste. That is the reason why we are calling it as dry batteries అంటా ఉన్నాం లేదా డ్రై సెల్స్ అంటున్నాం. ఇవన్నీ రెగ్యులర్గా వస్తున్న క్వశ్చన్స్, కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్స్లో రెగ్యులర్గా వస్తున్న క్వశ్చన్స్. సింపుల్ రీజన్, దీస్ ఆర్ ద థింగ్స్ దట్ ఆర్ అరౌండ్ అస్, రైట్? దెన్ యూ టాక్ అబౌట్ ద కేస్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ HCl, hydro,
Chloride.
right? Hydrochloric acid, or else the case of your HCl. Now, this particular HCl, the moment I'm talking about the case of HCl, especially it is used in the making of your PVC, polyvinyl chloride antam. HCl is used in the making of polyvinyl chloride, లేదా gelatin sticks, polyvinyl chloride, or else in the case of your gelatin sticks, HCl is used. At the same time, the combination of HCl and nitric acid, it is used, it is known as aqua regia. It is known as aqua regia, in which HCl and nitric acid are mixed in the ratio of 1:3, which is used in gold industry. Which is used in gold industry. Aqua regia generally బంగారం కరగబెట్టడం కోసం యూజ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటాం. ఆర్నమెంట్స్ డిజైన్ మారుస్తూ ఉంటాం కదా, ఆర్నమెంట్ డిజైన్ మారుస్తూ ఉన్నప్పుడు గోల్డ్ని కరిగించాలి. సో టు మెల్ట్ ఆర్ డిజాల్వ్ దట్ పర్టికులర్ గోల్డ్, we use this particular combination which you are calling it as aqua regia, which we are calling it as aqua regia. Aqua regia, sorry, REGIA, in the ratio of 1:3, which we are calling it as the gold industry.
HNO3 is nitric acid.
Nitric acid. Nitric acid. So when talking about the case of your nitric acid, it is used in the making of your TNT. TNT. Trinitrotoluene. It is an explosive material. Trinitrotoluene is an explosive material. HNO3 is used in the making of trinitrotoluene, an explosive material. An explosive material. None. So you need to talk about some of these particular acids as well as the bases. So where we are able to find the different types of acids. Right. Right. Acids as well as their sources. The moment I say acetic acid or else vinegar, the moment you're talking about the case of a vinegar, the acid that is present in vinegar, that is acetic acid. Or else lemon or citrus fruits, you get the case of a citric acid, or else gooseberry, ascorbic acid, right? So the one which you feel important or which, but just make a note of that one. Or else the one which you don't know at least. Suppose that if I say apple, right? So the moment you're talking about the case of apple, it is malic acid. Vinegar, you call it as acetic acid. Lemon or citrus fruits, you call it as the citric acid. Gooseberry, ascorbic acid. Tamarind, tartaric acid. Tomato or watermelon, oxalic acid. And there was one question somewhere asked around few years back, I suppose. Butyric acid. Butyric acid, right? So from where you get orders, what are the sources of this particular butyric acid, and right, you can make a note, whatever you feel like, you can make a note. Apart from this one, you can even write this one. So butyric acid generally is present in the case of your animal and plant oils. You find this one from animal as well as plant oils. Animal and plant oils, and finally you find this one even in the case of your mother milk. Generally milk anagane we say You're talking about the case of your cow or else the case of your buffaloes. Right from there, in that particular case, you're getting lactic acid. So the one that is separating the animal milk and mother's milk, that is a case of your butyric acid.
Sir, in wheat also there is an acid. But
అందుకే
it
అన్నా.
is not sour in
Wheat is not sour in nature, but suppose if I say apple పుల్లగా ఉంటుందా?
slightly
Watermelon,
sweet.
then. So even the watermelon you're having. So tomato పుల్లగా ఉంటుంది. Yes, we do accept it. Having oxalic acid. Suppose if you're talking about the case of a vinegar, పుల్లగా అని చెప్పేదానికంటే చేదుగా ఉంటుందని చెప్పడం better. But even in that particular case, you're having acetic acid. Right? It may be a small, forget that one. You're talking about the case of milk. Milk పుల్లగా ఉండదు, చేదుగా ఉండదు, పచ్చిపాలు కూడా తాగొచ్చు. Now even in that particular case, you're finding certain amount of acid, lactic acid. Mother's milk, you're finding butyric acid, animal and plant oils, any oil that you're taking. Whether you're talking about the case of a groundnut oil or the case of a sunflower oil or sesame oil, any particular thing, again it's having certain amount of acids. Right? Done? Make a note of those things which you are not aware of those things. We are done with this. Sulfuric acid is used in the case of your batteries. Hydrochloric acid you are using in the making of your guillotines. You are using it. Now HCl is especially used in the case of your leather industry. HCl, I think you haven't written it, right? Mainly for the case of your tanning of leather, we are using this particular HCl. Tanning of leather in the sense, suppose that when talking about the case of a leather, ఈ రోజు మనకు number of colors ఉన్నాయి లెదర్లో. ఒకప్పుడు బ్లాక్ బ్రౌన్ మాత్రమే ఉండేది. రైట్ నౌ యూఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ ఈవెన్ పింక్, బ్లూ, గ్రీన్, ఆల్ కలర్స్. సో కలర్ చేంజ్ అవుతుంది. కారణం ఏంటి? ట్యానింగ్ ఆఫ్ లెదర్ అంటాం. సో ఫర్ దాట్ పర్టికులర్ థింగ్ వీఆర్ యూజింగ్ దిస్ పర్టికులర్ యాసిడ్ ఫర్ దాట్ వన్. HCl is used in the case of your tanning of leather. Now this is an important, just make a note of this one. Citric acid as well as benzoic acid. It is used in citric acid. Now here when talking about the case of a citric acid, it is used in the processing and preserving of foodstuff for washing metals and in clothes industries. Especially for the case of your food industry, we are using citric acid. Now a simple thing now. Now suppose that these particular water bottles that we are having here. A water bottle like 1 week or 10 days, suppose that if at all you are not touching the bottle, no one is entering into the room is completely closed. 11th day you are coming. Will you drink that water? Why?
Color will change.
Need color ಮಾಡ್ತದ?
Water bottle surface.
Suppose that plastic bottle ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ. Plastic bottle on water, will you drink after 10 days? Why?
The smell changes.
Smell changes. Right? But the Bisleri bottle which is packed 3 months back is still fresh. Kinley bottle which was packed around 3 months back or 4 months back, it is still fresh. So you are even without washing the bottle from outside also, we are just opening the bottle and having it. Right?
Yes.
So why the bottle, why the packaged mineral water is safe and why the water that you have filled with your hands is not safe? ఈ బాటిల్ మీరే నింపారు, మీరు నింపి పెట్టారు, 10 రోజుల తర్వాత వచ్చారు. కానీ ఈ వాటర్ ఏమో చల్లేసి బాటిల్ కడిగి మళ్ళీ ఫ్రెష్గా నింపుకొని నీళ్ళు తాగుతున్నాం. But wherein the moment you're talking about the case of your Bisleri bottle or Kinley bottle which was packed around 3 months back or 4 months back, without thinking for a second, you're opening it and drinking it. So why that particular bottle is not allowing the formation of fungus? Kinley bottles you never find fungus. These bottles you leave it for 1 month, definitely you'll find fungus. Like the water cans, మనకు బయట వాటర్ క్యాన్స్ సప్లై చేస్తూ ఉంటాయి. ఇఫ్ యూ అబ్జర్వ్ దోస్ వాటర్ క్యాన్స్, కొన్ని వాటర్ క్యాన్స్ అయితే కింద మంచి కనిపిస్తూ ఉంటుంది, పాకురు ఫార్మేట్ కనిపిస్తూ ఉంటుంది. They are not bothered. So the water that we are drinking, it is not consisting of O3. These particular packaged bottles, before filling, sorry, after filling, before sealing, before they seal the bottles, they fill the bottle with O3 gas also, ozone gas, and they treat the water with UV light, ultraviolet light, UV light along with that O3. That is the reason why if you observe any particular packaged water bottle, they are not filled to the top. మొత్తం 100% ఫిల్ చేయరు, పైన కొద్ది గ్యాప్ వదిలిపెట్టేసి మూత పెట్టి సీల్ చేస్తారు. సో గ్యాప్ వదిలిపెట్టడానికి కారణం ఏంటి? ద మూమెంట్ యూ ఫిల్ ద బాటిల్ కంప్లీట్లీ, ఓజోన్ గ్యాస్ ఫిల్ చేయడానికి యూ నీడ్ టు హ్యావ్ సమ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ స్పేస్. ఓజోన్ గ్యాస్ at the same time that must be treated with UV light. Right? Packaged mineral water bottle is always filled with O3 and treated with UV light. Packaged mineral water is filled with O3 gas and treated with ultraviolet light and treated with UV light, right, to avoid the formation of fungus, to avoid fungus formation. Now, ever heard formic acid?
Yes,
Yeah. Whenever you have this particular red ants, whenever they are biting you, some amount of acid is released, which you are calling it as formic acid. So this particular benzoic acid, it is used as again a preservative. Citric acid, benzoic acid, both are used as food preservatives. Citric acid as well as benzoic acid, both are used as food preservatives. Citric and benzoic acid both are used as food preservatives. We talk about the case of an oxalic acid. It is used in photography and in coloration and printing of clothes. Nothing but the case of dyeing of clothes. In simple terms, the dyeing of clothes, for that particular thing we are using oxalic acid. At the same time, acetic acid is used in the case of vinegar and again in the case of your processing of foodstuff. Mainly the case of your vinegar. Right? Oxalic acid, mainly in the case of your photography. So if at all you have observed that particular, maybe you might have seen the case of your movies, you'll be finding a place called as a dark room, where you develop that particular negative into your paper, print on a paper. You call it as a photo. So there in that particular we are using hypo solution is used for that one. In the printing of your photos, hypo solution is used, right? But as of now, since we are no more developing that particular negatives, we are not using that particular technology, we are directly converting the digital form to the photograph form, paper form. We are using some chemicals which are calling it as oxalic acid. Then bases. So do we require bases? Yes. So we're talking about the case of your bases. Now these particular bases, they change the litmus paper from red to blue. Acids were changing from blue to red. Bases, they change from red to blue. So if at all you have observed Dove advertisement ఒకవేళ మీరు గమనించింటే Dove advertisement ఎండింగ్లో చూపిస్తాడు, పేపర్ పెట్టగానే కలర్ బ్లూ కలర్లోకి చేంజ్ అయిపోతుంది, indicating that a particular soap, they are not using any particular harmful chemicals which will damage your skin. So in case of your bases, they change from red to blue. They change from red to blue. Acids were sour to taste, and these are bitter to taste. At the same time, all these particular bases, generally they are very much soapy to touch. The moment you find them in your hand, they start slipping from your hands, right? Done. थोड़ा इसको ऑन करो ना, इसको बंद कर दो थोड़ी देर.
रिमोट अಲ್ಲ ಪಕ್ಕ ರಿಮೋಟ್.
Right. Now, when talking about the case of your bases, right? So, bases for your point of view, yes. Right. Now, this is what we require from your examination point of view. pH scale. You are able to classify a particular substance into an acid or base based on pH scale. So, if at all the pH value, or else if at all the pH scale value is something between 0 to 7, right? So, if it is from 0 to 7, you call it as an acid. So, pH scale generally will be having the values from 0 to 14. If it is 0, it is very much acidic in nature. If it is 14, it is very much basic in nature. 0 unte acid. Which means as the value is less, it becomes an acid. As the value keeps on increasing, it becomes a base. So higher the hydronium ion concentration, lower is the pH value. So based on this particular thing, based on these particular values, we classify these things. Now this is the way how it looks like. When you're talking about the case of any particular acid or base, right? So the different values always from 1 to 14. 1 to 14. So if it is something less than 7, you call it as an acid. Exactly equal to 7, we call this one as a neutral solution. If it is more than 8, less than 14, then you call it as an alkali. Base. Alkali substances generally they are all the basic compounds. For all the
For acids, when dissolved in water,
they give H plus ions.
H plus. For bases,
OH minus ions. Bases when dissolved in water give OH minus ions. Bases when dissolved in water, they give OH minus ions. I forgot that one. There is one more diagram. Right. Now this particular thing, the importance of acids in day-to-day life. So generally human body, mana body యొక్క pH value must be always between 7 to 7.8. At the same time, the moment the mouth pH value is getting reduced, right? If it falls to 5.5, then your teeth will start decaying. When if the pH of mouth becomes 5.5 or less than that, then your teeth decay will start. Then at the same time, you're talking about the case of a hydrochloric acid. Now, Hari was just saying sulfuric acid. It's not sulfuric, it's always HCl, right? So HCl is released in the stomach. Now, when it is released, whenever you're having more amount of food than what is supposed to have, whenever you're having less amount of food than you're supposed to have. అంటే ఎక్కువ తిన కష్టం, తక్కువ తిన కష్టం. So in that particular case, you're having certain amount of acids which are calling it as HCl. So then reduce చేయడం కోసం what we are doing, to reduce that particular thing, we are using some antacids like milk of magnesia అంటాం, లేదా magnesium hydroxide is used. Magnesium hydroxide is used to reduce the stomach acidity. Magnesium hydroxide is used to reduce the stomach acidity. Right?
sir,
Have you done this one?
normal diet it is not produced for only excessive.
Excess, even for normal diet also, if the diet is unhealthy, then definitely that will produce even this one. మనం తీసుకునే ఫుడ్ టైంలో తీసుకున్నాం, రాత్రి 11 గంటలకు తీసుకుని ఖచ్చితంగా that leads to acidity at one particular point of time. But generally it is said that you are supposed to have your dinner before 8 o'clock.
It is not healthy actually. Producing this.
More HCl is not healthy. Even when your stomach is empty, even in that particular case, it starts producing HCl. కడుపులో మంట ఉంటుంది, ఆకలిగా ఉన్నప్పుడు కడుపులో మంట ఉంటుంది. కారణం ఏంటి? HCl. ఎక్కువగా ఉన్నప్పుడు మంటగా ఉంటుంది. HCl. Right. So generally to reduce this one, so not required for you guys. Done. This is about the case of your acids and bases. And one point here, when talking about the case of your water, rainwater generally has got a pH value of, yes, write this point. Rainwater is the purest form of water. Its pH value will be somewhere around 5.6. Why it is having 5.6? Because of the presence of carbon dioxide and nitrogen. Because of the presence of carbon dioxide and nitrogen. And the pH of seawater is 7.8. pH of seawater is 7.8. Seawater is 7.8. Why? Because of the presence of salts and minerals. It is always basic in nature. If it is something more than 7, it indicates that it is a basic substance. If it is less than 7, it indicates that it is a acid substance.
C is a salt, it's a carbon sink.
C is a?
C is a carbon sink. It attracts carbon dioxide, so shouldn't it be acidic? Because if CO2 and NO2 is present in the atmosphere and rain is acidic, then even C should be acidic.
Then what about the OH minus ions which are present in that one? What about the salts which are present in that one? Now suppose that, for example, suppose that this particular water, right, this particular water, when you're adding some amount of powder to this one, nothing but a detergent powder, will it form foam or not? It allows the formation of foam. It allows the formation of foam. But the moment you're talking about the case of hard water, sometimes and no, nothing but boring water, ఇంట్లో ఉండే bore water, will it allow the formation of foam? Bore water నురుగు ఫామ్ అవుతుందా? ఫామ్ కాదు, తక్కువగా ఫామ్ అవుతుంది. Right? So that is what you call the hardness in water. All water, the complete water, will never allow the formation of foam. For example, seawater does not allow the formation of foam. You are applying soap, it does not allow the formation of foam, right? Or else if already you have applied soap, you are trying to wash it, right? It consumes more amount of water. It consumes more amount of water. When you are washing your clothes here, or else when you have applied soap to your face, with just one mug of water, you will be able to, if water is not there, with one mug of water, you can be able to adjust it. But in case of your seawater, you have applied your face soap completely to your face, and one mug of water will not be sufficient to clean that particular soap completely. Because seawater does not allow the formation of foam. At the same time, it does not release the foam very quick. That is the reason why generally many persons, they try to have this particular ordinary water. Man use chese water snan cheyadam kosam. Generally we try to have tap water for this one. Why? Because tap water allows the formation of foam. Right?
Not a hot water.
Hot water, no, hard water. Hard kaadu, hard water. Hard water will not allow the formation of foam. Soft water will allow the formation of foam. ఒక వాటర్ మనం హార్డ్ అంటున్నాం లేదా సాఫ్ట్ అంటున్నాం అంటే ఇట్ ఈస్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్రజెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ద కెమికల్స్ విచ్ ఆర్ ప్రజెంట్ ఇన్ దాట్. సో బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ద కెమికల్స్ సమ్టైమ్స్ వి కాల్ ఇట్ యాజ్ అ టెంపరరీ హార్డ్నెస్, ఆర్ ఎల్స్ వి కాల్ ఇట్ యాజ్ పర్మనెంట్ హార్డ్నెస్. అండ్ టెంపరరీ హార్డ్నెస్ ఆర్ ఎల్స్ ద కేస్ ఆఫ్ ఎ పర్మనెంట్ హార్డ్నెస్. Now this particular thing, reverse osmosis. The last time when this particular person, the Israeli Prime Minister, when he visited India, maybe around 2018 or so. Remember that?
He gave a unit.
Right? He gave a unit for purification of water. Benjamin Netanyahu, the last time when he visited India. Right? So that particular machine, it is working on one particular fundamental thing which we are calling it as reverse osmosis. It is used for converting seawater to drinking water. It is used for converting seawater to drinking water. Then, yeah, desalination. So this is not required, right? Water and its hardness. So why water is generally hard? So temporary hardness of water is because of the presence of bicarbonates. It is because of the presence of carbonates. Or else, to be more clear, I think you have this. No, you don't have this. So temporary hardness of water is because of the presence of calcium bicarbonate as well as magnesium bicarbonate. Temporary hardness is because of calcium bicarbonate and magnesium bicarbonate. That is the temporary hardness.
Already rainwater has a 5.6 pH value. When it becomes acidic,
When, right, rainwater becomes acidic the moment sulfur dioxide is mixing with nitrogen as well as carbon dioxide. Generally, ordinary rainwater lo we are having only nitrogen as well as carbon dioxide. So దీని మూలంగా pH value ఎంత ఉంటుంది 5.6 అన్నాం. But the moment sulfur dioxide is mixing along with that, then the pH value of rainwater will still further decrease and it becomes 4.0. Then you call this one as acid rains. If sulfur dioxide is adding to that one, you call it as an acid rain, because the pH value will still further decrease to 4.0. More. 4.0 itself indicates it's, however, 5.6 itself is acidic in nature. Now that is the reason why, if you have observed, our clothes or blankets, if it are varsham padtunam, the moment you are putting in rain, they become more clean. The water that we are using on a regular use as a water, or else rainwater. You wash your clothes with rainwater, the clothes will become more clean and neat. Because you are using some acids there. It's more acidic in nature. At the same time, a particular smell could have different because you are able to remove the dirt very easily. Right? Now, generally, that is one of the reasons why whenever it is raining continuously, you just take your blanket. You need not put your blanket in a washing machine or wash it. Right? You just take your blanket and keep in the rain. If it is raining continuously for 1 or 2 days, after that one, your blanket will become the most neat, right? So there in that case, you are saving your energy, you are saving your water, time. At the same time, the material is becoming more neat and clean. No, even now we follow some methods at home, the same methods. Whenever it is raining, you just take your blanket and put it in the rain. After 2 days or 3 days, so it takes some time to dry. But at the end of the day, the blanket is becoming more clean without putting any effort. Then, permanent hardness, it is because of 4 different chemicals which are present in this. It is because of calcium chloride. It is because of calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, calcium sulfate, and magnesium sulfate. So it is because of the presence of these 4 chemicals, permanent hardness of water. Calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, calcium sulfate as well as magnesium sulfate.
So, one is calcium chloride.
Okay. Calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, calcium sulfate and magnesium sulfate. The 4 chemicals because of which water is permanently hard in nature. Right. At the same time, you need to talk about some of the cases which we are using in our day-to-day life. Now, for example, the cement industry, or as the case of yes. Now, you talk about the case of your cement industry. Now, when talking about the case of a cement industry, we observe 2 types of cement. What is Linda? Come on, guys. White cement epudu chudaleda? White cement epudu chudaleda? White cement chudaleda? Huh? General JK White Cement and ఉంటుంది. I think నాకు తెలిసినంత వరకు you have got only one particular company which is preparing this particular white cement. You call it as the JK White Cement. Tiles పెట్టిన తర్వాత white color లో ఒకటి పెడతా ఉంటారు. After fixing the tiles, they use this particular thing, right? White cement. Cement is of 2 different colors. Cement of 2 colors. One is grey cement, other one is white cement. Cement black color లో ఉండడానికి లేదా green color లో ఉండడానికి కారణం ఏంటంటే it is because of the presence of ferric oxide. 2% ferric oxide is present in that. Cement is also known as Portland cement. We call it as Portland cement. Cement is also known as Portland cement. And cement is a mixture of your limestone, clay and gypsum. It consists of limestone, clay as well as gypsum. Limestone, clay as well as gypsum. Gypsum will turn out to be plaster of Paris. Gypsum, when you are heating it, it turns out to be plaster of Paris. Can you echo heat chest, it becomes the hardest material and then it is of no use. So limestone, clay and gypsum, you call them as the combination of cement. And cement, what you are having in cement, we are having calcium oxide, we are having silica, at the same time we are having even some alumina. So danikana important thing, 2% of ferric oxide is present. That is the reason why cement is ash in color. Ash in color. That is the reason why cement is ash in color. It is because of the presence of 2% ferric oxide. Ade ferric oxide lekapothe, it will be white in color, which you are calling it as white cement. Which you are calling it as white cement. And generally white cement is very costly. 1 kg of white cement will cost around 70 rupees or so. Cement bag 50 kgs ఉంటుంది, cost 350, 400 ఏమో ఉంటుంది అది. 50 kgs is costing 350 or 400. And what is the cost of that one? 7 or 8 rupees. But wherein 1 kg of white cement will cost you around 70 rupees also. But white cement is very much stronger when compared to the grey cement. But since it's costly, we use that one less. Now you talk about the case of your soaps and detergents which we are using in our day-to-day life, right? Any particular soap that we are taking, it is a sodium or potassium salts of long fatty acids. So soaps lo unde prati oka soap lo we are having this particular stearic acid, or as the case of oleic acid, or else palmitic acid, the different types of acids that are present in soaps. And sometimes soap is transparent in nature. What do you call that soap? Glycerin soap, right? So when this is the case, when glycerol esters, when you are adding that one, so it becomes a glycerin soaps. So all these things, if you observe, C17H35 or else C15H31 or else RCOONA. So these are all nothing but organic compounds antam vetti. Or else vetti hydrocarbons ani kuda antam. Wherever you are having hydrogen, wherever you are having carbon, we call them as hydrocarbons. Or in simple terms, organic compounds ani kuda antam. We even call them as organic compounds, or as the case of your organic hydrocarbons. From these particular hydrocarbons, we are getting this particular petrol or crude oil, petrol or diesel or naphtha, all these things we get from this particular substances which are calling it as hydrocarbons. Now, for example, suppose that if at all I say crude naphtha. So, from the case of your crude oil, you are getting this particular thing called as crude naphtha, which you are using in laundry soaps or cleaning or washing. Getting different products, and we are using all those particular things in different cases. For example, you are getting kerosene at a temperature of 150 to 250, or as the case of your petrol 70 to 120, or else the case of your diesel you are getting at 250 degrees centigrade. So different temperatures, different products. This is what we call it as fractional distillation. This is what you call it as the fractional distillation. So crude oil, when subjected to fractional distillation, you get all these particular things. Crude oil, when subjected to fractional distillation, we get petrol, gasoline, kerosene, gas oil, diesel, all those stuff. When crude oil is subjected to fractional distillation, so we get all these particular products, right? Then finally, yes. Now, just now as discussed, gypsum from where you are getting from. So plaster of Paris we get from the case of your gypsum. So whenever you are heating this particular thing to a temperature of 120 degrees centigrade, gypsum when heated to 120 degrees centigrade, it gives you plaster of Paris. Gypsum when heated to 120 degrees centigrade will give you plaster of Paris. Now, so to that particular plaster of Paris, generally we use that one for making idols. Plaster of Paris, water and salt. It becomes a hard combination, strong combination. Salt. Crystal salt used just thin salt called crystal salt used just. Plaster of Paris, water and salt. The moment you are adding common salt, right, it becomes very much hard. Generally, common salt, and especially we use only crystal salt here, rock salt used just. We don't use that particular the powder form. Now, if at all you have observed, public is again going back to the case of your rock salt. Now, instead of that particular free flowing iodized salt, again we are going back to the world wherein we used to have the crystal salt. Because free flowing iodized salt is again we are using more amount of chemicals. That is the reason why they are moving away from that again.
But iodine is not present.
పాతకాలంలో iodine ఉందా? Now you are talking about iodine now around after 10 years or from past 20 years. Now if you ask your grandmother, now you ask her, she'll tell you whether she has used iodized salt or crystal salt. They have everyone they have used only that particular rock salt. But still they are healthy. Now we are using free flowing iodized salt. We are using low iodine salt.
Goiter.
Right? Number of health issues we are getting. Right? And finally, this is the case of your polymers. Right? This is the last one, the final case, polymers. So in the case, yes?
What is a polymer?
Yeah. So generally, the simple, now when talking about the case of your polymers, poly means many. The single compound which is present in that one, you call it as monomer. So this particular monomer plus monomer plus monomer plus monomer and so on, that will give you a polymer. It's a long chain of compounds. Polymer is a long chain of single compounds. A long chain of compounds results in a polymer. A long chain of compounds results in a polymer. Right? So that's it, guys. This is about the case of your chemistry or as the case of everyday science.
Different monomers or
డిఫరెంట్ మోనోమర్స్ నంబర్ ఆఫ్ మోనోమర్స్ అంటూ ఉంటాయి. ఒక్కొక్క పాలిమర్లో ఒక్కొక్క మోనోమర్ అంటూ కనిపిస్తూ ఉంటుంది.
same type
అదే అండి రైట్, ఒక్కొక్క పాలిమర్లో ఒక్కొక్క విధమైన మోనోమర్స్ అంటూ ఉంటాయి.
homogeneous mixture.
ఒకే పాలిమర్లో సేమ్ మోనోమర్స్ ఉంటాయా డిఫరెంట్ మోనోమర్స్ ఉంటాయి?
ఒక్క పాలిమర్ తీసుకుంటే అందులో సేమ్ మోనోమర్స్ ఉంటాయి, ఒక్కొక్క పాలిమర్ తీసుకుంటే ఒక్కొక్క మోనోమర్స్ ఉంటాయి. నేను అది చెప్పాను, డిఫరెంట్ టైప్స్.
Then homogeneous mixture of monomers.
యా, ఇక్కడ హోమోజియస్ మిక్చర్ అనే వర్డ్ యూస్ చేయం, లాంగ్ చైన్ కంటిన్యూస్ చైన్ ప్రాసెస్ ఇది. Right.
Basically, it's repeating unit of
Same monomer.
A unit which you are repeating in three-dimensional space, that will give you the case of your polymers.
Metallurgy, you told you cover.
Metallurgy not required. So